Oh my god, what am I doing now? That's right. I'm expanding the system even further. Honestly, I can't fit any more 100 watt panels up there on the roof anymore. It's not physically possible. I might be able to get one more 50 watt panel up there, but that's just about it. So while I'm at it, let me kind of tell you where I'm at now. So I was still a little bit concerned about my overall airflow, so I got some of these 12 volt. These are actually 12 volt fans. They run on USB, but they also came with an AC adapter so that I can just plug it in over here to the power strip. This is like an 1850 watt surge protected power strip that's basically just going to be hooked up to the inverter at all times. The thought process behind this was, okay, this stuff I want to work all the time, no matter what. So no matter if I am plugged up, to shore power, no matter if I have the main plug connected to that 30 amp pigtail down there, no matter what, I want the refrigerator to work, and I want my battery charger to work, and I want the 12 volt fans to help keep the air circulating in here. Now my 12 volt charging station, I ended up cutting the end of the plug, and I've just got that on the load terminals of the solar charge controller. That way, this thing is always on. So if I want to charge phones via 12 volt, I can do that. No big deal. Like I'm doing right now, I'm charging up one of my phones on the 12 volt outlets. So that way, these things are always going to work. And that leaves me with 3 or 4 extra plugs that I can plug other stuff into, so that if I am boondocking somewhere, this stuff will just automatically be running. I won't even have to plug in the entire camper if I don't want to. And the main reason I'm doing that is because these lights will work, so they'll be just fine. Obviously, I won't be able to charge my laptop because it's running on AC, so I would have to plug up the entire camper for that power. These motion lights won't work because they're also AC powered, and the coffee pot and all that stuff. So if I want full amenities, if I want all of this stuff to work, I'll just have to plug up the whole camper to the 30 amp plug. Hence the reason I installed it, for quick and easy access to the whole camper setup. But if I'm on the road and it's just like a quick stop, I'm stopping for lunch, I'm stopping just for a couple of hours or whatever, then this right here should totally get me by. I should be able to charge my batteries for my e-cig. I should be able to charge up a phone. My refrigerator will stay on and cold, but I'll still be able to come in here, grab myself a nap, and not have to fool with everything being turned on, especially whilst in transit. So that's that. So the inverter is mounted sideways, and I've decided to, like I've told you all before, to keep the Energy Kodiak as just like a backup. And since it's got, lithium rechargeable batteries in there, I've just ran the power brick, and it's also plugged up to this. So it just stays constantly charged. So that way, if I'm in an emergency and I just need some portable power, I just reach in the compartment, grab the Energy Kodiak, and I can go. Then I've got a full 1.1 kilowatt worth of energy to take with me anywhere. But that's where I stand right now with this whole deal. And I'm telling you, it has been quite the challenge just figuring all this stuff out. Because, again, just like when you decide if you want to live in an RV, you really have almost no idea what you want, what you're going to need, until you start doing it full time. And, most people, they think in their head, they have like these little fantasies and these imaginations about what it's going to be like and what you actually need and all that kind of stuff. 9 times out of 10, it's never, ever like that. You honestly have to live in it. So if you're about to sell your house and you don't have your camper yet, big mistake. Buy the camper, put it in the driveway, quit using the house altogether, rely solely on your camper and all of its energy consumption and needs, and then figure out what you want / need. Otherwise, you're probably not genuinely going to know. And without that experience, you're probably going to waste a bunch of time. You'll buy a bunch of stuff you didn't need, or you won't buy a bunch of stuff that you did need, and you'll end up having to send a bunch of stuff back. Hey, Amazon, I got to return. Hey, hell, I'm in a driveway right now. Plenty of access to the amenities, and I've still been buying stuff and sending stuff back because you just don't know what you need until you start using it. So it's actually still pretty early in the morning right now. The sun is just now coming up. It's about 9:56 a.m. UPS just dropped them off. I just hurried up and pulled them out of the box so that I could actually see if they were in good working condition. Just wanted to make sure that they weren't broken or anything, which is the number one thing you should do. As a matter of fact, I probably should have done it while the guy was still here so that if one was broke, I could say, nope, I'm not interested. Take that ish back, bruh. But today's project is to get the brackets on and get them mounted. These brackets for these solar panels, unlike the other ones, I will not be screwing them in. I will be using only VHB tape and only Eternabond tape over the top of the brackets. You guys can thank Hobotech for that idea. You can check out his YouTube channel. I think he did his build maybe a year and a half ago, maybe something like that. And so yeah, that's where I got that idea. He says it's still working great, and that's what I originally done to my other 6 panels up on the roof. I put the VHB tape on the bottom of the bracket and the Eternabond over the top, but then I got a little worried, got a little iffy, and without that like 1 year update or whatever, I just wasn't sure, so I went on ahead and screwed them in just to be sure. So I don't think that Monkey Man's going to be helping me out today, but he's going to stand guard for Daddy, aren't you, Bubby? You going to stand guard? Watch out, make sure Daddy don't do nothing stupid. Thanks, Bubby. Go out there and lay down and help Daddy watch for stuff, okay? Thank you. You're such a good guard dog. And just as a quick side note, I had a bunch of people asking me what this solar panel was for. Well, it's to charge the house battery here. This panel is a 50-watt panel, and right now I've been having to manually check the charge on the battery to make sure that it doesn't overcharge, because this thing, I think, has an open circuit voltage of like 18 or something, so that's entirely too high for a flooded lead-acid battery. And so I'm going to they've got a waterproof charge controller. It's only like $12.99 or something like that, and I'm going to screw it to the inside of the box, of the battery box, and then that way I won't have to worry about it anymore. I just bring out my portable solar panel out here, plug it up. It'll this main cable will go right to the waterproof solar charge controller on the inside of the box, and we'll be done. So I'll probably put some quick disconnects from this wire to the solar charge controller so I can just plug them in and unplug them real quick. But that's what that's for. This thing, 50 watts, more than enough to help recharge and top off this flooded lead acid battery. So this is that's the battery that runs my power jack and runs my interior lights. Okay, so these are the brackets I'm going to be using. They're the exact same kind that I used last time. They're made by a company called XOOL Zool. I don't know. But they are very high quality brackets. Yeah, they're kind of like a Z bracket, but they've got side support, little handles here. Pretty awesome. This is where you're supposed to screw them into the roof, but again, I'm going to put VHB tape here on the bottom, clean them real good with alcohol, scuff them up a little bit with some sandpaper, put the VHB tape, self-adhesive, double-sided adhesive on this side, mount them on the roof, and then put Eternabond tape right over top of them. So the great thing about these, at least these HQST panels, is they have so many different mounting holes. All the reviewers, when I first bought these, what was it, back in August or no, September or October of last year, were always talking about how many mounting positions you had. You know, I can count 5 right here on every corner, and the drain holes as well. So even if you did get a little bit of a water seepage up here into these aluminum frames, you've got all of these drain holes that go all along the sides. It is just absolutely fantastic. They also have a grounding hole here, so that if you do have, say, a short circuit or something, and you want to ground these out, you can tie ground, so you can go from panel to panel, because they have them on both sides. They've got a grounding hole, so you can go one panel to the other panel to the other panel, and that way you can do a constant common ground all in one place. It's pretty damn good. So now that the brackets are on, I'm not going to be using these screws, at least on these two. I'm instead going to be using VHB tape on the bottom. This stuff is like witchcraft. The VHB stands for Very High Bond. This is the stuff that they use on, like, spacecraft to hold that shit together, because it's super duper lightweight, but the bonding strength is just ridiculous. So, and then I'm also going to be putting over top of the bracket, once I've got it mushed down, then I'm going to be putting, this is called a Turnabond tape. I'm going to be laying it down on the top of the bracket to make sure that it's secure. But first, we have to clean the bottom of the brackets with some isopropyl alcohol, and then we have to take some sandpaper and kind of scuff it up a little bit to kind of increase the surface area. And then we'll wipe it down with alcohol one more time to make sure that we've got all the dust and debris off of it, and then we can start putting these things on. Alright, so overall pretty easy. Just give it a good little scuff. Do that to all of them. Then take yourself a paper towel. Apply some rubbing alcohol to it. Doesn't take very much. This is 91% isopropyl, by the way, in case you guys are wondering. And then rub all the dirt and debris off of the brackets. That way you also thin out any oils from the manufacturing process or from your hands while you were trying to attach them. And it'll make it a much, much faster, smoother process. And it ensures a much stronger bond once you get it up there on the roof. Alright, now that that part's done, we're going to take our VHB tape and we're going to make 4-inch pieces that go on each one of the brackets. Make sure to leave the top sticky adhesive protective film on there. Just peel it off the roll from the bottom, and you'll expose the sticky side that'll go onto the bracket part. And you'll end up taking the top part of the tape off once you get it up on the roof. You lay it on there, make sure you apply a lot of even pressure along the whole thing to make sure that it'll hold on to it real nice and tight. This stuff is amazing, but you have to do surface prep first in order for it to work to its maximum. Okay, it's the end of the day. I had almost forgotten, I really had, what a pain in the ass these solar panels were to try and mount on this roof. And that was with help, let alone by myself. And I had to run all of them in series pairs, which means I had to undo so much wiring in the heat of the day and get everything wired up. So let me show you what I'm working with now. Alright. This ladder is still awesome, by the way. It's fantastic. Okay. Let me see if I can get all the way up here without killing myself. Probably not. Alright, hang on. One second. If I'm going to kill myself, I'm going to go out on camera. Shit, but then who's going to upload the video? Okay, so now, I have this weird thing with symmetry. So this back section looks fantastic. These four I already had. So this is a new one that I put up here today. I haven't put the Eternabond tape over the brackets yet, but so here's how they're wired up though. These two are in series and then in parallel to the junction box. Then I had to rewire these two, so now it's these two in series in parallel to the junction box. Now this one is wired to this other new one and then in parallel to the junction box. And then those two are in series and ran parallel to the junction box. But look at this. I got a panel over here, and I need one over there to complete symmetry, but I can't do it because that would make it 900 watts, and if I put a 900 watt or an extra 100 watt panel up here, and I didn't run it in series, that means the voltage would be lower than the ones that are ran in series, and the lowest one would drag all the rest of the panels down as far as total voltage. So I can't even do it. Sad days, I guess. But this does leave me, I usually have my ladder over here, and I get up right beside this so that I can sit my ass down here and slide onto my ladder, and I kind of hold on to that thing. But it also gives me some room to walk around up here. So I still need to tidy up my wires and all that kind of good stuff. But series parallel, series parallel, series parallel, series parallel. So I have 4 pairs of series panels. So it basically means that I don't have 8 panels up here on the roof. I have 4 panels. Because when you series connect, it makes 2 panels, 1 panel. So if one of these panels gets a little bit shaded, both panels don't do anything. That's just the way it works. But with that higher voltage, that means I need less thick wire going down into the battery bank. That higher voltage keeps the amperage from the roof down to the battery bank much lower, and then the solar charge controller gives me more amps from the solar charge controller to the batteries. So I know to some of you all that sounds like really, really confusing, and honestly it was for me too, but if you're really thinking about getting into solar, you'll start figuring out as you go along. As always, I'm here for you to answer any questions you might have. So if you have any, just drop them down in the comment section below. Don't forget to thumbs up this video. It always helps out every single time. You all have no idea, so I definitely appreciate it. And as always, thanks for watching yet another riveting episode here on the Avion Awesome channel. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I'm going to see you guys again on the next one. Peace.